Herkese merhabalar, hoş geldiniz. Academix online webinarlar serisinin bugün farklı bir ayağında İngiltere'den partnerimiz London South Bank University bizlerle birlikte olacak. Bu anlamda yaklaşık 1 saat sürmesini planladığımız bir webinar gerçekleştiriyoruz. Bu webinar kapsamında öncelikle ben kısa bir Academix'ten bahsedeceğim. Yaklaşık bir 5 dakikalık bir sunum olacak. Akabinde sözü London South Bank University yetkilisi Malcolm Davidson'a paslayacağım. Kendisi size London South Bank University ile alakalı bilgilerde bulunacak. Daha önce de duyurduğumuz üzere etkinliğimizin dili Malcolm'un partı İngilizce olacak tabii ki. Bu esnada eğer sorularınız olursa lütfen chat kısmından sorularınızı iletebilirsiniz. Türkçe ya da İngilizce fark etmiyor. Chat kısmından iletmenize de gerek yok. Direkt mikrofonunuzu açarak da sesli olarak da sorularınızı sorabilirsiniz. Dediğim gibi eğer sorunuzu doğru ifade edemeyeceğinizi düşünüyorsanız da direkt Türkçesini yazabilirsiniz. Ben zaten çeviri konusunda sizlere yardımcı olacağım. Bugün lisans ve master'la alakalı karışık bir sunum olacak. Yani lisans ve master ayrı ayrı partlarda değil. O yüzden ortak, hepsi tek bir çatı altında yönetilmiş bir sunum olacağı için dediğim gibi sunumun bütün partlarında sizinle alakalı bir şeyler olabilir. Eklemem gereken son şey ise sunuma başlamadan önce bazılarınız zaten bizim öğrencilerimizsiniz. Bazılarınız zaten bizlerle görüşmüş öğrencilersiniz. Bazılarınız da form doldurduk. Bizden bilgi almak isteyen öğrencilerimizsiniz. Eğer henüz bir danışmanımızla irtibata geçmediyseniz de bugün o doldurduğunuz formlarda sizlere en yakın şubeden birer tane danışmanlarımızı sizlere atadık. Etkinlik sonrasında kendileri sizlerle telefon yoluyla ya da mail yoluyla irtibat kurarak ekstra sorularınız varsa ya da kayıt süreciyle alakalı merak ettikleriniz konusunda da yardımcı olacaklar. 1-2 dakika daha bekleyebiliriz. Gelenler hala var. Onları kabul ediyorum. Akabinde başlayabiliriz. Welcome again, Malcolm. I'm just going to talk a very short brief about academic study services. It will take around 3 to 5 minutes maybe, and then I will pass in my turn to you. By the way, your mic is turned off. That's why I can't hear you.
I know, it's on purpose.
Okay.
I was letting you speak.
Okay. If you do not mind, I can just start from my part, and then I can just pass it to your turn.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Bir yandan da gelenlere bakalım. Olursa şuradan kabul edeceğim. Daha önce duyurduğum üzere Academix online webinarlar serisi aslında Mart sonu itibariyle bunlara başladık. 23 Mart'ta başladığımız bir seriydi. İtalya'dan 4 tane üniversitemizi ağırladık. Bunlar genellikle 3 tanesi tasarım ve moda ile alakalı akademiler ve üniversitelerdi. Bir tanesi de İtalya'dan keza özellikle tıp alanında, ekonomi ve finans alanında çok fazla popülaritesi bulunan Katolika'yı ağırlamıştık. Bu webinarların kaydına zaten YouTube sayfamızdan ulaşabilirsiniz. Keza bugünkü eğitimin kaydını da yine YouTube sayfamıza yükleyeceğiz. Oradan da görebileceksiniz. Eğer kaçırdığınız kısımlar olursa ya da işte ailenizle tekrar izlemek isterseniz de bu anlamda webinarımızın kaydı yine YouTube kanalımızda olacak. Kısaca bir Academix'ten bahsedeceğim. Daha sonra sözü Malcolm'a bırakacağım. Gelenleri hala almaya devam ediyorum. London South Bank University ile alakalı kısa bir tanım yapmak gerekirse İngiltere'nin açıkçası en köklü ve en büyük üniversitelerinden bir tanesi. 1892 yılında kurulan bir üniversite. Londra'da yer alıyor. 130 farklı milletten senede yaklaşık 25 bin civarında öğrenciye eğitim imkanı sunuyor. YouTube kanalımız sorulmuş. Academix News olarak birazdan zaten sunumda da belirli bir partini göstereceğim. Sunumla alakalı YouTube kanalımızı da keza görebileceksiniz. Şöyle yapalım. Dediğim gibi 130 farklı milletten senede yaklaşık 25 bin civarında öğrenci eğitim imkanı sunan bir İngiliz üniversitesinden bahsettik. Southwark keza merkez kampüsü ve Havering kampüsleriyle mevcut ve bünyesinde psikoloji, hukuk, mimarlık, mühendislik, hemşirelik, müzik, film, spor, aklınıza gelebilecek hemen hemen bütün bölümlerde program imkanı sunuyor. Özellikle lisans, foundation, lisans, yüksek lisans tercih edenler olursa short courses, her ne kadar Academix olarak biz yapmasak da doktora seviyesinde de program alternatifleri keza mevcut. QS ve Times Higher Education kapsamında ilk 1000 içerisinde yer alan bir üniversite ve bu da okulumuzun YÖK denkliği olduğunu gösteriyor. Bu anlamda zaten Malcolm da bahsedecektir ama program kapsamlarında tabii ki burs imkanlarında bulunmakta. Şöyle devam edelim. Academix olarak peki bizler neler yapıyoruz? 96 senesinden beri bir sektörde olan bir firmayız. Yaklaşık 25 senedir bu sektörün içinde yer alıyoruz. NAFSA, keza English UK, British Council, English Australia, Quality English gibi dünyaca akreditasyonları olan kurumlarla çalışıyoruz ya da bu akreditasyonlara sahibiz. Şu an için 13 tane şubemiz Türkiye genelinde mevcut. Açılması yolda olan bazı şubelerimiz de keza yoldalar. Onlar da yakında aramıza katılacaklar. Ancak şu an için 13 tane şubemiz mevcut. İstanbul'da bizi 5 farklı lokasyonda bulabilirsiniz. Bunlar Taksim, Beşiktaş, Kadıköy, Ataşehir, Bakırköy. Bunların haricinde Türkiye'nin diğer büyük şehirlerinde de akademik şubeleri hizmet vermekte. Ekranda bu şubeleri de görebilirsiniz. Sadece Türkiye'den değil, dünyanın farklı ülkelerinden de öğrencilerimiz var. Yani bizle ilerlemeniz için Türkiye'de yer almanız gibi bir şart kesinlikle söz konusu değil. Biz zaten tüm öğrencilerimize paket olarak bir hizmet veriyoruz. Bu hizmet kapsamında sizin alabileceğiniz bütün program araştırma, vize danışmanlığı ve oryantasyon süreci, hatta uçak biletine kadar bütün işlemlerinizi biz paket olarak ücretsiz bir danışmanlık kapsamında sizlere sunuyoruz ki keza Londra'nın Üniversitesi'nin de Türkiye'deki resmi partneri olduğumuz için de bu danışmanlık sürecinden herhangi bir ekstra ücret ödemiyorsunuz. Hatta Academix sayesinde Academix tarafından bilginiz olacak ekstra burslarla, ekstra indirimlerle de normal bir başvuru yapan birisinden daha ekonomik şartlarda gitme şansınız olacaktır. Academix'le alakalı söylemem gereken son şey, ödüllü bir ajandayız. Doğu Avrupa'nın Star Ajandası ödülüne sahibiz ve son 3 senedir bu ödülün sahibiyiz. Son 5 senedir finale kalıp son 3 senedir bu ödülün sahibiyiz. Partnerlerimizin bizlere verdikleri oylarla seçilen bir, dünyadaki bütün üniversite partnerlerimizin, kolej partnerlerimizin, dil okul partnerlerimizin verdiği oylarla bu ünvana sahip olduk. Pandemi sebebiyle geçen sene bunun sonuncusu gerçekleşemedi. Ama inşallah yine finale kaldığımız bu ödülü önümüzdeki senede alma şansı buluruz diye umuyoruz. Ekranda da göreceğiniz üzere şimdiye kadar 40.000'den fazla öğrenciyi yurt dışı eğitim hayaliyle buluşturduk. 300'den fazla anlaşmalı okulumuz var. Okulların uzatmalı partnerleriyle birlikte bu sayı yaklaşık 1000'e kadar gelebiliyor. 30'dan fazla ülkede partnerlerimiz mevcut ve şu an için 13 tane şube ve 60'tan fazla danışmanla hizmet veriyoruz. Bünyemizdeki programlar, aklınıza gelebilecek bütün programlarda biz eğitim imkanı sunuyoruz. Gelenleri almaya devam edelim. Aklınıza gelebilecek bütün programlarda eğitim imkanı sunuyoruz. Özetle Work and Travel harici her şeyi bizde bulabilirsiniz. Bu anlamda dil programları, lisans, master, MBA programları, sınav hazırlık kursları, 18 yaş altı için Junior Summer Camps, sertifika, diploma, Summer Session programları, lise programları ve profesyonel vize danışmanlığını biz size zaten süreç esnasında ücretsiz olarak sunuyoruz. Sigorta, konaklama, çeviri ve uçak bileti organizasyonuna kadar bütün hizmetleriniz bizim tarafımızdan paket olarak gerçekleştiriyor ki Academix Yurt Dışı Eğitim Danışmanlık olarak da Birleşik Krallık Büyükelçiliği'nin prestijli ajantalarından bir tanesiyiz ki Tier 4 başvuruları, yani London South Bank'le yapacağınız başvurularda da şu ana kadar herhangi bir vize reddimiz yok. %100 bir vize başarısıyla öğrencilerimizi akademik programlara yerleştirme şansımız oldu. Keza diğer programlarda da hayli yüksek bir vize yüzdesine sahibiz diyebilirim. Web sitemizi ziyaret ederek aslında sitemiz bir nevi ansiklopedi gibi, aklınıza gelebilecek bütün sorular, programlar, fiyatlar, başlangıç tarihleri, kabul kriterleri, bütün her şey sitemizde yer alıyor. Ama sitemizde yer almadığını düşündüğünüz kısımlar varsa da bizlere ulaşarak danışmanlarımız vasıtasıyla sorularınıza cevap alabilirsiniz. Programlarımızı da zaten ekranda da görebiliyorsunuz. Bugünkü etkinliğimiz London South Bank Üniversitesi ile olacak ama daha öncesinde de gerçekleştirdiğimiz etkinlikleri zaten YouTube kanalımızda bulabileceksiniz. Ama bunların haricinde yaklaşan etkinliklerimizi de görmek isterseniz, onlara da aynı bu formatta gerçekleşecek etkinliklerimize katılmak isterseniz de etkinlikler sayfamızdan bu etkinliklerden haberdar olabilirsiniz. Keza 5 Mayıs'ta da Avustralya'daki bir üniversite olan özellikle medyanın öne çıktığı ama çokça fazla bölümde program imkanı sunan bir üniversite olan Torrance University of Australia bizlerle birlikte olacak yine aynı saatte. Torrance University ile alakalı olarak aslında çok kısaca şunu hatırlatmak isterim. Bugün yapacağınız, yanlış hatırlamıyorsam Hotel Management ile alakalı bugün yapabileceğiniz program başvurularına, bugün son gün, %50 bir burs sunuyor Torrance University of Australia. Eğer Hotel Management ile alakalı bir eğitim düşünenleriniz varsa aramızda, bugün Avustralya'daki bu üniversiteye ön kaydınızı yaptırarak, en azından application formunuzu yollayarak %50 burs imkanından faydalanma şansınız oluyor. Programın amacı sorulmuş Burhan tarafından. Soruyu biraz daha açabilirseniz yardımcı olurum. Az önce de bahsettiğim gibi YouTube kanalımızda zaten geçmiş etkinliklerimizde mevcut. Zaten bugünkü etkinliklerimize keza yine ekranda gördüğünüz gibi YouTube kanalımıza yükleyeceğiz. Tekrardan sakin kafayla izleme şansınız olabilir. Bizlere Academix'e ekranda gördüğünüz telefon numarasından ya da e-mail adresinden merkez şubemize kontak kurabilirsiniz. Size en yakın şubeyi biz size zaten yönlendireceğiz. Bugünkü eğitim sonrasında da keza size en yakın seçtiğimiz şubelerden danışmanlarımız sizlere dönüşler yapacaklar diyorum. Benim kısmım bitti. Sözü şimdi Malcolm'a bırakacağız. Önce bir soru var galiba. Urhan'dan bir soru var. Bugün ne işleyeceğimizle alakalı bir soru gelmiş. Bugün İngiltere'deki üniversite olan London South Bank University'yi tanıtacağız. Eğitimimiz İngilizce gerçekleşecek. Bu eğitim kapsamında üniversite ya da master yapmak isteyen, İngiltere'de üniversite ya da master yapmak isteyen kişiler için Londra'da bir üniversitenin tanıtımını yapacağız. Giriş şartlarını konuşacağız. Program alternatiflerini, burs imkanlarını, hatta Eylül itibariyle İngiltere'de eğitim sonrası İngiltere'de yaşama ve kalış hakkı sağlayan Post-Study Work Permit şansıyla alakalı da bizlere Malcolm bilgide bulunacak. Malcolm, I guess I finished my part. I guess it's your turn.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, so I'm just checking everyone can see and hear me okay, yeah?
Sure, yes, all is perfect.
You can see the screen, fantastic, yes. You can hear me. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining today. I can see that Selçuk's, or I don't speak Turkish, but I can see that I could make out just enough that I think Selçuk has given you a few ideas about London South Bank University already, what we offer. So yeah, today we're going to look at not just about the university, not just a slideshow about the university, but also some other, I think, really key things too to consider this year. Things like the new post-study work visa coming in for international students who want to study in the UK. I think that is going to be a game changer for UK recruitment for this year. And also just about other things too, employability, affordability, lots of different topics too. So first of all, I think one of the key selling points of LSB is London. Now, I know from my job, traveling the world, going to different countries, working with students in different countries, one thing that in every country I go to, I always get students that come to me and say, London is my dream. I really, really want to go there. And I think it's not difficult to convince students to come to London. You know, it's a no-brainer. It's a really appealing destination, but it's more than just a fantastic city to visit. I do genuinely believe, I studied in London myself. I'm not from London, I'm from the north of Scotland. So I went to the other end of the country to go to university. I do think studying in London is a fantastic investment. It's not just an exciting place to be. You do get the chance to really create a really fantastic international network for the rest of your life. And London is a great city for opportunities, especially when it comes to building up your employability skills, getting internships, work placements, making contacts, stuff that, making an international network that will last forever. But one thing I do find about London is that it makes me a bit sad is I meet lots of students that say, I really want to go to London, but it's too expensive. I can't afford it. Or there's this idea that, London is only for elite students. It's only for top universities. It's only for UCL, King's College, Imperial College London. But I want to show today also that London can be many different things. So London can actually be relatively affordable. You can probably study in London for a lot less than you think it costs. It can also be quite accessible too. It's not only top 50 world universities. There's a whole range of universities for all different kinds of things you're looking for different subjects, different skill sets, different budgets, different academic qualifications. Getting into a UK university doesn't have to be only for the very best students in the world. And also, I would say this year, suddenly, London has become better value than it ever has before with the new post-study work visa. So now all international students have the chance to stay in the country for 2 to 3 years after graduation with the new post-study work visa. So maybe if you were thinking of Germany, Holland, Canada before, suddenly maybe London is a consideration again, if that is your goal, if you're thinking about post-study work opportunities. So with that in mind, why London South Bank University? Now, I will say also, I've been working on the Turkish market for about 2 years now. One of my biggest challenges with Turkey, it's not promoting London, it's promoting London South Bank University as a brand. I know our university has not been very active in Turkey up until the last 2 years. So simply, there are many other universities in London that are more famous in Turkey, that have more Turkish alumni, more Turkish students. But when students see what we offer, often the reaction is, why don't I know about this university? This is a great offering, right? Because we have a really fantastic location right in the center of London. There's a really big focus at our uni. It's all about employability, internships, work experience, practical education, okay? It's the opposite of this old-fashioned academic, theoretical style of learning. It's all about teaching you stuff that is useful, teaching you skills that will help you get a career. Our fees and our scholarship options mean that we're also quite affordable if you compare us to other similar unis, and we have a really wide range of courses. So business, psychology, law, architecture, engineering, all kinds of practical subjects we teach, not just one narrow area. So I think Selçuk mentioned this before, long history. We've been going since 1892, 7 different faculties, a big university, 16,000 students study with us. And like I mentioned, I think location is a fantastic selling point for us. So our main campus is at Southwark, or Southwark, it looks like, pronounced Southwark. And that is located, so you would be studying, if you study with us, you're studying literally 20 minutes walk to Big Ben, London Eye, 30 minutes walk to the financial district, to the city. So, you know, world famous central London is just literally 20 minutes walk from our campus. So super convenient, near everything. And then you wouldn't just be studying next to these places. These colored dots you see on the map, that is our accommodation. So our accommodation is literally 2 minutes walk to campus, and you would be living 20 minutes walk to Big Ben, London Eye as well. This is also a fantastic option too, because, you know, London can be busy, London can be expensive. So you'd be saving money on public transport. You wouldn't need to take public transport. You'd be saving time spent on public transport. And if you're looking for work opportunities, you're right in the center of London. So everything is really, really close at hand. And then accommodation too. I think accommodation also is another thing which students get concerned about, because there's a reputation for accommodation in London is super expensive. But if you compare the price of our residence with other London options, it really is very affordable. So you can get a single room on our campus for around about 600, 700 pounds a month. Okay, that's a single room with a private or a shared bathroom. It doesn't come with catering. You have to cook your own meals. But for just 700 pounds a month, you're living right next to campus, walking distance to everything, really fantastic location. Naturally, though, I'm not just selling holidays to London, so location is fantastic. We also are a great university with some really great awards. We've won 2, all around employability. So 2018, 2019, we were super proud to win the award, University of the Year for Graduate Employment. And then in 2019, we came number 4 in the UK, and that's for average starting salaries. So that means on average, like our students are getting, out of all uni graduates in the UK, our graduates are getting the 4th best salaries from their first job. So clearly, employers really, really like our students. Okay, clearly we're doing well on the labor market. So why is that? What is it that we do? We're going to cover that in a sec. And then some other things to mention too, also backed up by the rankings. Complete University Guide 2020, #1 uni in London for graduate prospects in art and design. And we teach things like fashion, games design, animation, and built environment. Built environment means civil engineering, construction management, those kinds of things. and #1, London Modern University for career prospects in accounting and finance, business management, computer science, psychology, economics, marketing, electronic engineering. So really, really proud of those stats and really proud that they back up what we're trying to do as a uni. You know, that really is the mission of the uni. Okay, it's great to see that we are getting the rankings to match what we're trying to do. So if we're looking at employability, I do think I've noticed a lot more questions this year about the post-study work visa. So how does that work? What does that look like? What are the options? And also, I'm noticing more and more students really approaching us or study in the UK with a kind of a long-term approach. Okay, so if I'm considering a career in the UK, what subjects are a good fit if I want to do that? So on the graduate visa, this is how it's going to work. I should mention that, you know, I'm not a trained visa expert. I just have the top level knowledge on this. And if you want more information on this, do go to the government website, www.gov.uk, and look up new graduate route visa. That's what it's called. That's the official name, the new graduate route, and you can see more information on that. But basically, this is how it works. All students graduating after 1st of July 2021 will be eligible to apply for the visa. So anyone starting university this year, that should apply to you. And first of all, it can be any subject, I should mention. Some students ask me, oh, what subjects are eligible? All subjects. So it can be something really, really obvious, like accounting and finance or engineering, something very employability focused. Or you can be studying dance or baking, or I don't know, drama, acting, music, anything. It just has to be a full bachelor's or a full master's degree. Okay, so if you're doing some kind of foundation certificate or some kind of diploma, like below degree level, that won't apply. It has to be a bachelor's or a master's. After bachelor's, you are eligible to apply to stay in the country for up to 2 years. And after a master's or above, so above would mean MBA or like a PhD, once you finish that, you can stay for 3 years. This is a separate visa that you have to apply for, by the way. You're not given it automatically, but that is the eligibility. This visa allows you to look for work, well, basically work or look for work at any level. So just so you know, you don't need a job offer to get the visa. The visa enables you to look for work, and it can be at any skill level. So I know ideally, you will most likely want a good graduate level job in your specialism, but this is the real world. All young people know this leaving university. You may need to initially take a lower level position than you might ideally want. So it enables you to work, I don't know, like as an admin in an office, or I don't know, working as like a restaurant manager or something like this before you find your graduate level job. If you're looking to have dependents join you, that would be family members, husband, wife, children. They can also apply to be your dependents on the graduate visa. And once you're on that visa, you can also switch into the skilled worker route. So I should mention this 2 or 3 years you get on the new graduate route, that doesn't enable you to stay in the country permanently. But if you get onto the skilled worker route, that means that you would be employed by a company in a job which is recognized by the government as a required profession for the skilled worker visa. And after 5 years on the skilled worker visa, you can apply for UK citizenship. So again, I'm not selling immigration to the UK right now, but I thought it would be really useful to give you an overview of what the new graduate visa looks like. So with that in mind, I'm getting a lot of questions right now. What are the best programs to study for employability in the UK? And the answers, I did some research on this, are probably not that surprising. So obviously subjects like business, marketing, accounting, finance, economics are always going to be good subjects for employability. They give you a lot of options of where you can work. I think the global pandemic, COVID-19, has just underlined the importance of having professionals who can work in healthcare jobs or in biotechnology, drugs development, drugs policy. Healthcare subjects like, you know, from medicine, dentistry, nursing, physiotherapy, all healthcare professions are always going to be very much required in the UK. Not always easy to get onto healthcare professions as an international student. I will talk about that a little bit later. Computing, IT, programming, data science, software development. Again, I'm sure you can guess that will be very much needed. And also architecture and engineering, always needed programs for employability. And then after COVID-19, again, I saw some stats on this. These jobs are predicted to be the most required jobs after COVID-19. After COVID-19, we're going to see some requirement for rebuilding the economy, for companies to restructure. So things like human resources management apparently is in very high demand at the moment. I imagine lots of companies are going through restructuring due to the economic impact of COVID-19. Healthcare, again, naturally, it goes without saying, health issues are going to be very much needed, very much an important topic in the next few years. And then you've got computing, IT, business, marketing, engineering, but also other niche programs as well. So I did read interesting things like architectural technologists. There's a shortage of architectural technologists, a shortage of electronic engineers, a shortage of actual like digital film content, people who do digital film content for marketing companies. There's a shortage of those. Just because your dream program isn't on this list, it doesn't mean you shouldn't study it, by the way. And then just very quickly, just to mention some encouraging news on the UK employment market. Again, this doesn't mean, guys, green light, come here. Getting a job is super easy. It's not quite that straightforward, but interestingly, this is just some feedback from employers. 33, like 1/3% or 1/3 of UK employers say that jobs are considered hard to fill. That means they cannot find good candidates to fill the jobs. Of those jobs that are currently open, around about half of UK employers say the reason why they can't find people to fill those jobs is they don't have enough applicants who have the required skills. Okay, so they don't have applicants who can actually do the job properly. And then 67%, a huge number, say that like when it comes to specialist skills, niche skills, or knowledge to perform niche roles, there just aren't enough applicants. So that should give you quite, I hope that would give you like an encouraging picture of like the job market in the UK and opportunities for international students after graduation from this year onwards. So I guess you've seen like which professions are needed, what the options are, and just that it's all about skills, really. Okay, that's one key thing I would say. So I'm going to tell you a secret too, and this is interesting for Turkish students. I do find Turkish students, you're not the only country like this, but students are very ranking focused. So often one of the first things they ask is, what's the ranking? There's an obsession with higher ranked universities. I'm going to tell you a secret. UK employers actually don't really care that much about where you studied. That may be quite surprising to you. Of course, if you studied at Oxford and you have like a first class honours and top marks from there, that's going to look very impressive. But generally speaking, employers, they may be interested in which uni you studied at, but really when they look at your CV or when they interview you, they want to see what you can do. They want to see what skills you have. They want to see that you are a proactive person, that you've done lots of different projects. They want to see what you have done and what you can do. And I think that is what LSBU is really, really good at. We're all about giving you the chance to get skills, hands-on learning, building up things on your CV to talk about when you go for job interviews, giving you a portfolio of work. So the way we teach, like I mentioned, it's learning by doing. It's practical approach. It's doing lessons that give you the chance to do things that are more like what you would actually do in a job. So not just theory at all. We also offer what we call future-focused curriculum. So at LSBU, we don't have a crystal ball. Okay, we can't predict the future, but we don't just try and teach you what is the classic stuff you need to know. We try and think ahead and think, okay, if you want to work in business or in accounting or as an engineering, what are the trends? What skills, what knowledge will you need 5 years in 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future? So constantly updating our courses to give you a future-focused program. And then offering lots of opportunities for internships and work placements to give you actual content, actual contacts, and actual experience. So these are just some of the companies that we do internships with. So there's some big names there, big financial companies like BlackRock, JP Morgan, BNP Paribas, so some world-class companies there. And
by the way, we got one question.
Yes, sure.
She just sent me the question via direct message channel. That's why you cannot see it right now. She's asking, she's foreigner in Turkey. Is there anything can be changed for the ones who are foreigner in Turkey, or this presentation is just special?
Sorry. Yes, I should be more multicultural in my mindset here. Yeah, so like it doesn't really matter. I know that Turkey there's lots of international people and international students living and studying in Turkey currently. So every year we get students from Turkey that are not Turkish nationals. So yeah, this all applies. This applies to any nationality. Yep.
Okay.
So everything I say will be relevant to you as well.
Sure. Thank you. Helia'nın sorusuna istinaden sunum bütün ülke vatandaşlarını kapsıyor. Sadece hani Malcolm da söylediği gibi sadece Türklere özel bir sunum değil. Okul zaten çok fazla sayıda yabancı öğrenciye de sahip. 130'dan fazla milletten öğrencisi olan bir okul bu arada. Okay, we can go ahead.
Thanks for the question. Gave me a chance to breathe. That was good. And yes, so if you want to do, so normally just to say as well, if you study in the UK, so a bachelor's typically is 3 years long and a master's is normally 1 year. Okay, so that's the UK structure. However, you can do slightly longer programs if you want to include an internship in your studies. So these bachelor's programs normally would be 3 years long, but you can do what we call a sandwich year, literally like a sandwich. So 2 years of study. 2 years of study is the bread base. Then the sandwich filling would be a 1 year work placement. So you would go and work for 1 year in a company in London or somewhere else in the UK, or even some students choose to go to their home country and do that. That's also possible. 1 year work placement, and then you would come back and finish your degree. So that would give you the chance to get 1 year's paid work experience as part of your studies. It's not for everybody, but if you are very work focused and motivated, that can be a really good way also to make contacts. I mean, keep in mind, companies are more likely to hire somebody that they know already. So if you've done a placement with a company and it went well, you got on well, the managers like you, it's possible that there could be a job at that company after you graduate. And then master's programs are normally 1 year long, but you can also do a 2 year program if you want. That would be a 1 year master's plus a 1 year internship. Okay, so that gives you the chance to get an extra 1 year's work experience before returning home to your home country or before applying for the student visa. Sorry, the post-study work visa. And these are the programs where we offer the internship. I should mention too that this one here, International Business Management, that program is available to students if you never studied business before. So even if you have a bachelor's in civil engineering, humanities, arts, psychology, anything, law, you can apply for international business management. Other things that we offer you too to help with your employability, lots of networking opportunities. Institute of Directors is a large business networking organization in London, and we have the largest student membership of any university in London. So you get the chance to go along, meet other London business students, London business owners. As the saying goes, it's not always what you know, sometimes who you know. So we have some students that have been to these events, made connections, and actually been offered jobs or internships just by attending these events. And then we offer what we call live cases. So it's not just assessment by exams, coursework. You also get the chance to do a live case. A live case is a real consultancy project with a real company. So you work with a real company and they would give you a real business case to work on, and you present that back to the company. So that, first of all, gives you connections with real companies and real contacts in real companies, but also gives you the chance to do projects, to do work that is probably more like what you would do in the real world, you know, what you would actually do in a real job. And again, this is gold. So this is the stuff, when you go to a job interview, it looks so much better if you can say if you can talk to a future employer about stuff you've already done, instead of, oh, I spent 3 years sitting in a library, you know, studying. They want to see that you have real world experience to bring to the table. This is a project that our students did this year. This is an example of a live case. Our marketing students got to do like a mock advertising campaign with H&M, like a big global brand like that. So we are working with some world level brands. And it's not just about big brands. Student enterprise is a big part of what we do too. So on campus, if you are interested in this, we have this enterprise center on campus. So this building here, it's not just a building, it's our enterprise center. And that is home to 70 startup businesses on our campus. And the enterprise projects are open to all students. So you can be a business student, but also if you're studying law or filmmaking, photography, psychology, if you want to start your own project or start your own business, there's lots of events, seminars, talks, projects where you can get support to develop a business plan. So some success stories already. So I've been at LSBU 3 years now, well, in this particular role, 3 years, and I'm seeing some of the students I've worked with going on to do some great things. So Alina is a student from Ukraine. 2 years ago, helped her enroll in a master's in marketing. And recently she was awarded a startup visa. So that means she started her own business with the help of the Enterprise Center. So she started her own freelance marketing consultancy and now has visa sponsorship to stay in the country and work as like a business owner with her own business. Other students I'm working with too at the moment, another student from Ukraine who is only in her 2nd year and studying bioscience. So she's not even studying business, and she is starting her own IT project freelance. So science student, bioscience student, starting her own business in a completely different area in IT. And that is all with the help of our Enterprise Center. Naturally, not every student is going to do that, okay? Some students prefer to just study, hang out, have fun. You know, there's plenty of those students too. But these opportunities are there for students if they're motivated and want to take them. So if all of that sounds good, what can you study here? I think we have some subjects that are very popular for Turkey. The School of Business naturally is our most famous school, but it's by no means our only school. So a range of business bachelors there, as well as an MBA and different business master's programs as well. We also have the Faculty of Applied Sciences. So psychology, I know psychology is very popular in Turkey. So we have psychology bachelors and some master's programs as well. And really quite affordable programs too. We'll cover prices in a minute. But if you're interested in psychology, do get in touch because we have some fantastic options. And also I've noticed a growth in popularity for arts and creative subjects too. So there's acting and performance, games design, filmmaking, music and sound design. We had students from Turkey last year for that program, and also fashion business as well. If you're interested in medical subjects, so we always get students who are interested in, I don't know, physiotherapy, in medicine, in nursing. Just to say, it's not impossible for international students to get onto these programs, but it can be quite competitive, quite expensive. You need very high IELTS. You need like IELTS 7.0 in every category to get onto those courses. Doing something like a bachelor's in biomedical science actually serves as a kind of a pre-med program. So if you finish this bachelor's, you can then go on and do a master's conversion in whatever you want to. So like that could be a master's in physiotherapy, radiotherapy, even medicine, even nursing, okay? So as an international student, this can be a much more accessible way of getting onto a healthcare subject. We teach architecture, civil engineering, construction project management, as well as engineering, chemical, mechanical, electrical engineering, computer science, data science, law, criminology, international relations, tourism, hospitality, urban planning, many subjects. Finally, fees, scholarships, entry requirements. So if you're still here and you're still listening and still watching and you're still interested in what you would need to get into LSBU, entry requirements are quite flexible really. So if you have a UK bachelor's, that would be a 2-2, or a bachelor's from Turkey, minimum 2.3 out of 4. We also have a list of what we would consider to be top universities. That's like Bilkent, Sabancı, Koç. There's a list of about 25. Again, speak to the team at Academix. they will be able to advise you on whether your university would be suitable for entry to LSBU. And keep in mind, you would also need an English certificate too, but we'll cover that in a sec. And then for a bachelor's degree, Turkish high school diploma. So if you've studied Turkish high school diploma, minimum 65% overall, we can accept you for direct entry to bachelor's degree. And for English, minimum IELTS 6.0 or 6.5 for masters. We accept lots of other tests as well. TOEFL, CAE, Pearson's. This year as well, we're still accepting online tests. I know that COVID-19 is still going on. I know Turkey has been struggling with lockdowns, so we also accept some online tests as well. Duolingo, IELTS indicator, language cert, online. I should mention also, this is just a new update. If you want to do a Masters Plus internship, the English requirements have changed. They're slightly higher than they were before, just because we have a lot of demand for those programs and the faculty need to be confident. If you're looking for an internship as part of your program, they need to be confident that your level of English is strong, because if you're going to get hired by a UK company, naturally you need strong communication skills in English. So, fees, scholarships. We do offer some small scholarships. There's a scholarship of £1,500 a year for international scholarships. But if you have a high GPA, so I would say from your Turkish high school diploma, if you've got like, I don't know, like 80% or above, then we could offer you a scholarship of £3,000 a year for bachelor's, total saving of £9,000 over 3 years. That's a fantastic saving. And then I think if you've got 3 out of 4 in your Turkish bachelor's, then we can offer you a merit scholarship of £4,000 for a master's. So what does that mean? That means tuition fees would be a total of £14,900 a year. So with a normal GPA, we could reduce that cost to £13,400 a year. And if you have a high GPA in your bachelor's or in your master's, sorry, in your high school diploma or your bachelor's degree, we can offer you a bachelor's for £11,900 a year or £10,000 a year for a master's. Sorry, £10,900 a year for a master's, I should say. And then there's also a further discount of 5% if you pay everything in advance. I should mention too that accommodation, if we just return to accommodation for a minute, remember that you'd be paying LSBU, you would be paying about £6,000, £7,000, £8,000 a year for accommodation. So in total, you could easily study and live for well under £20,000 a year, less than £20,000 a year. Now that is still a lot of money. I'm not sure if I could afford to do that myself, I'll be honest with you. At the same time, when you do compare with other London universities and other UK universities, and when you consider, you know, the benefit of the work opportunities and the support for employability and all that kind of stuff, I do think this really is a good value option in London. So as we mentioned, really good package of selling points: central location, employability focus, and a relatively affordable fees, accommodation, and scholarships. So that pretty much is a summary. I hope that was useful. Even if you're not in London South Bank University, I do hope the information on employability, the post-study work visa, I hope that gives you something to think about and is helpful information for the team. And really happy to take any questions if anyone has any. Mechanical engineering. So Mehmet Can is asking me about mechanical engineering. We don't teach aerospace engineering. So it's just mechanical engineering we have for bachelor's and for master's. For aerospace though, I do know of a couple of universities that teach that. And the team at Academix can advise on that. I think Cranfield, Coventry teach aerospace, but I'm sure Academics know of some other courses as well. I should say, of course, I'm going to say this because they're here today, but I will say, you know, we do have, I've met a number of partners in Turkey, and I will say the team at Academics are a really great team, very experienced, very trustworthy. They will give you good advice and good support. they've already helped a number of students come to LSB already. So they are trustworthy, experienced agents that know what they're doing. So you can trust their service.
Mehmetcan sorusuna isnaden İzmir'de görünüyorsunuz. Şube danışmanında Selda Yıldız olarak görünüyor. Selda Hanım zaten size etkinlik sonrasında ulaşacaktır. Şube müdürü Nadir Bey de aramızda. Kendisi de bu öğrencimizin ismini not alsınlar. Mehmetcan Meriç'in sorusuna isnaden. Malcolm'un feedback'i doğrultusunda da Cranfield'da yine sub-partner üzerinden, Coventry ile de keza yine direct partner üzerinden yardımcı olabiliriz. Farklı opsiyonlar varsa da keza mekanik, makine mühendisliği üzerinde aerospace eğitiminin de verildiği İzmir şubemiz memnuniyetle yardımcı olacaktır diyerek sorumuzu cevaplayabilirim. I guess we just finished the presentation, Malcolm, right?
Yeah, that's right. No more slides.
Okay, thank you very much.
Which everyone may or may not be happy to hear. Yeah, so any other questions coming through?
Okay.
Another one here.
It was a very well informative session, also for my end as well. I also find a chance to refresh myself about the LSVU.
There's always more you can learn. Yeah, there's somebody asking about art programs, animation or motion art degrees. We do have media production. I think we still have animation. Yeah, there's quite a wide variety of arts programs. I would divert you towards the site just to check what programs we have. But yeah, if you're interested to talk more about the arts programs. Also, any students watching today, I'm sure the team at Academix wouldn't mind if you want to arrange a one-to-one consultation with me. I'm sure they're happy to do that. Just get into Academix and that can be done. Someone's asking about full scholarships. The classic question everywhere I go. Unfortunately, we don't offer full scholarships. I should mention too, it's quite unusual to get a full scholarship with a UK university. There are some for postgraduate studies, but normally I'm not saying you're not, but you would have to be a student a very, very top student or looking to do some very kind of like world level research. So that's usually what the scholarships are around. I should mention our tuition fees and our scholarships probably would be considered quite generous scholarships and quite low tuition fees for the UK. So sorry, Darren, I can't say yes to your question, but do research online and see what you can find about that.
Derin Levent'in sorusuna isnaden master mı, lisans mı onu biraz açabilirseniz. Malcolm da söylediği gibi maalesef full scholarship imkanı neredeyse hiçbir ülkede yok. Sadece belli şartlar altında sağlanabiliyor. Ama ben şimdi chat'e de bırakacağım. Bir link bıraktım. Her ne kadar master linki gibi görünse de aşağılara inerseniz orada yurt dışı yüksek lisans bursları altında alabileceğiniz burs alternatifleri var. İngiltere'de özellikle sağlanan burslar bunlar. Bir de bizim sitemize yine çeşitli bursların sağlandığı ya da bizim bursları duyduğumuz bir sayfa var. Buradan hani London South Bank için olmasa da farklı üniversitelerin sağladığı burslar var. Keza full yok. Yani full ile alakalı tek tavsiye verebileceğim yer İtalya kısmı ile alakalı bilgi alabilirsiniz. İtalya'da full scholarship imkanı söz konusu olabiliyor belli şartlar altında. Ama İngiltere'de bu şans çok fazla olmayacaktır. Another question from Nur. She's asking the general admission requirements for acceptance of the psychology program.
For psychology, for acceptance for psychology. So, yeah, and there's also a question here, Selçuk Berber, about clinical psychology. This is a really good question, actually, because it's one of the, okay, first of all, I know there's massive demand for psychology from Turkish students. I've noticed this. And we have 2 master's programs. There's an Msc Psychology, which is a 1-year conversion course. So that's a 1-year conversion course that is available to students who never studied psychology before, first of all. So you could have a background in a non-psychology subject, and that would get you entry to a psychology program. It's going back slightly here. Then we also have MSc. That also I should say too, that MSc Psychology is BPS accredited. So that might also work if you're a Turkish student who wants to come to the UK and get a BPS accreditation. You could do that 1-year psychology course. So even though the course is designed for beginners, it takes you in 1 year up to BPS UK level psychology. And you would need a UK bachelor's 2.2 or a Turkish bachelor's of 2.3, 2.2 to get onto that. We also have MSc Mental Health and Clinical Psychology. That's a 1-year course. For that, the entry requirements are slightly higher. You would need a UK 2-1 or a Turkish bachelor's of round about 2.75 to 3.0. That is not BPS accredited. I should mention that also.
Is it also a 1-year program?
It's a 1-year program, yeah. So I hope that that makes some sense. I would also just ask you to check our site and have a look at that. What is interesting this year is in the past, it was never a question because international students didn't have the post-study work rights. So most international students were coming to us, studying psychology and going home. Whereas now I'm getting a lot of questions from Turkish students in particular about, can I work as a clinical psychologist in the UK? So this is a really, really complicated topic. I'm not going to talk for an hour here, but just to mention very quickly, it depends what you mean by clinical psychologist. In the UK, an actual clinical psychologist is like a doctor level qualification. And that is like 3 or 4 years of study after graduation. And a clinical psychologist is someone who works in a hospital and actually prescribes drugs and that kind of stuff. It's not a therapist, it's not a counselor, it's not someone that works with one-to-one clients in a private setting. So if you really want to be a clinical psychologist, that's a long process. You're looking at 3-4 years of study and it's very expensive. If you're thinking of doing, being a therapist who sees clients one-to-one with a private practice, then you should be looking at different kinds of courses. So our mental health clinical psychology course, it's not a course that makes you become a therapist either. It's kind of an in-between qualification. So that's just to be clear with everybody what the different courses are for. So if you're looking at a long study process in the UK, I would advise you to go for the Msc Psychology to get the BPS accreditation. Sorry for the very long answer. It is rather complicated, but I think it's important to educate everyone on what courses for what.
It is also very hard work for me to keep everything on my translate everything. Soruya isnaden uzun bir yanıt oldu. Hatta bir soru daha var onunla alakalı. Biraz onu da soracağız. Psikoloji yüksek lisansıyla alakalı 2 tane programdan bahsetti. Bir tanesi normal regular psikoloji programı. Bir tanesi de clinical psychology programından bahsetti. Normal psikoloji master'ı, ikisi de birer yıllık program. BPS yani British Psychology Society accreditation'ına sahip olan programlar. Bir tanesi buna sahip, bir tanesi değil. Şununla alakalı da ekstra bir açıklama yapmak gerekirse, şimdi biliyorsunuz Eylül 2020 itibariyle İngiltere'de eğitim sonrası 2 yıl çalışma ve kalış izni var. Bu anlamda psikoloji programlarının bununla alakalı akıbeti henüz belli değil. Çok taze bir imkan olduğu için. Bununla alakalı şu an için bir şey söyleyemiyor. Ama ileride psikoloji programlarının İngiltere'de neredeyse bir doktor seviyesinde üst düzey programlar olduğu için ilerleyen zamanlarda bir iş imkanı düşünülüyorsa regular psychology dediğimiz 1 yıllık ve BPS onaylı olan, akreditasyon olan psikolojinin okunulmasını tavsiye ediyor. Giriş şartlarından da zaten Malcolm ekranda da gördüğünüz üzere bahsetmişti ve bu 1 yıllık psikoloji programını okumak için de herhangi bir background şartı olmadığını söyledi. Mehmet Can'ın sorusunu şimdilik tutuyorum. Diğer soru bu konuyla alakalı, o yüzden ona geçeceğim. Daha sonrasında Mehmet Can'ın sorusuna geri döneceğim. Malcolm, we got another question actually. It is also related to clinical psychology. Would you like me to read or can you see the question from chat? It is from Selçuk Berber.
Yes, let me just check that. I did see it. So yeah, so if you don't have BPS from, okay, if you've studied psychology in Turkey, obviously you won't have the BPS accreditation. So you can apply for either of our programs. You can apply for either of our programs without BPS accreditation. However, the mental health and clinical psychology course won't give you that accreditation. Only the Msc Psychology will.
Okay, another question actually. Let's go to this one. Mehmet Can is asking, if you mention about fully funded scholarship, could you also talk about government scholarship for international students? I guess we already answered this one.
Yep, the only thing I would mention is, again, it's something I've worked on the project before. There's the Chevening Scholarship. That is one thing that is quite popular. That is that's for master's study. That's fully funded by the UK government. I've worked on that scholarship program myself. I do know though that Chevening Scholarship, they're looking for like future influencers, business leaders, that kind of stuff. So in your application, you must demonstrate how you have the connections and how you have the plan to sort of do world level industrial geopolitical bridge building between countries and different business world between different countries. So it's not an easy scholarship to get, but if you feel that's your profile and you have the experience, then yeah, by all means apply for that, because that gives you a 1 year fully funded studies in the UK.
Bu soruya şöyle bir yanıt da verebilirim. Benim az önce attığım linklerde yurt dışı yüksek lisans burslarında Chevening bursuyla alakalı zaten görebilirsiniz. Detayları görebilirsiniz orada. Ayrıca bir şey daha söylemem gerekiyor. Yine keza British Council tarafından verilen Great bursları keza mevcut. Great bursları bazı üniversitelere veriliyor. Ben şu an listeyi kontrol ettiğimde göremiyorum. LSBU buna göremiyorum. Şu an için 12 tane üniversite var. Ama bunların içerisinde Cranfield'da var. Malcolm az önce bahsetmişti sizin sorunuza eksi olarak. Cranfield'da böyle bir aerospace eğitimi verilen bir mekanik mühendisliğinden bahsetmişti. Cranfield aynı zamanda Great programı içerisinde. Şubenizle görüştüğünüz zaman bu detayı da iletirseniz size hem Great bursuyla alakalı hem de Cranfield programıyla alakalı yardımcı olabilirler. I guess London South Bank is not accredited for the Great Scholarship by British Council, right, Malcolm?
Great. I actually don't know much about the scholarship, actually. So sorry, I can't comment on that. I haven't heard of it.
Okay, because some of the universities, some dozen of universities are accredited for this one, and I can't see the LSBU is accredited about.
Also I do know that you have also some scholarships from Turkey, yes? I know that the Turkish government also gives some scholarships for master's programs, doesn't it?
This is something which is provided by the British Council.
I don't actually know about that, guys, but I will check that out because, maybe we can get on the list.
Sure. Soruları iniyorum, devam ediyorum. Bursla ilgili linki bırakmıştım. Another question from Sema. She's asking, she couldn't catch the page about IELTS exam. Do you accept UKVI and IELTS result?
Yeah, see, I've gone back to that page. So yeah, so just to say academic IELTS, there's academic IELTS, Academix IELTS, UKVI. They're both the same exam. So they're both the same, they're both the same level, just the UKVI has more security on it. So it doesn't have to be UKVI. You can also do academic IELTS without the UKVI, but it has to be 6.5 for a master's program. We also accept, just to repeat, TOEFL, CAE, Pearson's, Duolingo as well. We accept for this year. So for a master's program, you would need 120. That's quite a high score for Duolingo, but we need 120 for Duolingo. You can find all of the English requirements on our website. I would post the link now, but I can't seem to get through to my website at the moment. So
actually,
anyone has the link. Sure, yeah.
You mentioned that UKVI is not required for LSBU, but it is also required for Turkish visa applicants. I guess you are just waiving the SELT requirements from CAS letter, then they will not.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so there's just a slight difference. So if you've done a CELT UKVI English test, the difference is that you would submit that test as one of your documents with the visa application. If you do a non-CELT, non-UKVI English test, then the university just puts that on the CAS, but you don't need to put the English certificate in the application, as far as I understand. That's my understanding. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, I also know this.
Yeah.
Sema'nın sorusuna istinaden zaten Malcolm yanıtladı. IELTS UKVI şart değil. Bu aslında LSBU için iyi bir şans. Çünkü UKVI'nin akademik IELTS'tan farkı bir tık daha pahalı olması ve güvenlik anlamında kamera kaydı esnasında bir sınava girmeniz vesaire. Bu anlamda UKVI şartı yok. UKVI ve PTE yani Pearson sınavları İngiltere vize başvuruları esnasında kullanmanız gereken iki sınav tipi. TOEFL maalesef ki İngiltere Konsolosluk tarafından henüz akredite bir sınav olmadığı için eğer okul aksini belirtmedikçe bütün İngiltere akademik başvurularında IELTS UKVI'ye ihtiyacınız var. Ama okul az önce de konuştuğumuz gibi akademik IELTS'i de kabul ediyorsa, UKVI olmayan IELTS'leri de kabul ediyorsa bunu sizin Confirmation of Acceptance for Studies dedikleri bir CAS letter'ınız olacak kabul esnasında. Burada sizin dil şartınızı sağladığınıza dair bir ibare düştükleri anda UKVI'den muaf olabileceksiniz. Geçtiğimiz zamanlar hatta buna benzer bir case'imiz vardı. Özetle LSBU için UKVI olması şart değil. Pearson ya da normal akademik IELTS'te de bu dil klasmanından muaf olabilirsiniz. Rana is asking, what is the minimum score for online Duolingo test?
That would be 120. 120 for masters, 110 for bachelors.
120 sorumuzun cevabı olarak da rica ederiz. Devam ediyoruz. Another question from Nilay. She's asking, can someone with a Bachelor of Psychotherapy and Master of Chiropractic program in Turkey come to a master program in this field in the UK, and do they profession as a chiropractor after graduation?
So yes, I think so. So yeah, because you would be UK qualified. You would have a UK level qualification. So assuming that hoping that the post-study work visa would still be in place when you graduate, I don't see an issue with that, because like I said, you would have the if you've done a program in the UK, you have the UK requirements for that. Can I just ask, is chiropractor, I don't know what the noun is of that. Is it popular in Turkey? I'm getting quite a few inquiries about that and a few applications for that from Turkey.
Yes, actually, it started to be popular, actually. It was, I had never seen until last year, actually. And then I just researched what kind of program is it. And then I also started to hear rapidly about this program from Turkish students nowadays.
And just to say to Selçuk Berber, I just got your email, Selçuk, so I will answer your email about chiropractor course after the session, okay?
Okay. The question from Nilay, by the way.
Oh, that was a different thing, yeah.
But the same branch, no?
Yeah, indeed.
You already answered the question regarding the GRE. Another question. Okay, I think we do not have any other question.
But so, thanks, some really good questions.
Yes, I also like the questions, by the way. Sorularınız varsa alabiliriz. Türkçe de sorabilirsiniz. Direkt mikrofonunuzu açabilirsiniz. Direkt kendi case'inizle alakalı sorularınız varsa alabiliriz. Birkaç dakika daha bekleyebiliriz. Yoksa da session'ı sonlandırabiliriz. By the way, how is the current situation?
Okay, yes.
COVID-19 in the UK.
So excited about post-study work. I almost forgot about COVID-19. Yeah, things are getting a little bit better here. So the last couple of weeks, London is starting to come back to life. A lot of things are starting to reopen. We're seeing pubs, restaurants, normal shops are reopening again. So and also I should mention too that the vaccinations program here has gone quite well. I don't like our government, by the way, so I'm hesitant to praise them too much, but the vaccine program is going quite well. I get my vaccine tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. I can go home and see my father in Scotland. That's good news. So yeah, things are looking positive here. Although at the same time, I'm very aware that globally, many other countries are still having a hard time and the situation is still very unstable. I understand in Turkey, you're having some further lockdowns, yeah?
Yes, yeah, it's gonna start by this Friday. It's gonna be fully restriction under such a hard curfew precautions for 17 days until the 17th of May. It's going to be a very hard period for us actually, because lots of Turkish people, not including me, are not caring about these precautions before. That's why we were one of the best countries who were showing the less numbers at the beginning of this pandemic. But now I guess we are one of the worst ones. That's why we should be under such strict precautions, which is a very useful one. So hopefully we will afford it and can handle very soon. How about the situation in the UK? Because according to gossip which comes from Britain, they were saying that by the 21st of June, all the places, including the nightclubs, stadiums, will be remove all these precautions. Is it true, or is there any movement on this?
That's what they say. So, I mean, like I said, if things go at the current rate, they will do a good job of vaccinating most of the population. So I think they think that would be possible. Again, I haven't seen anything about borders opening yet. The UK is still a little bit closed. It's not easy to leave the country at the moment. One thing I will say to you, I think unrelated to this, a question I get a lot and I don't have the answer yet. And it's interesting, most universities, maybe you know more than me, I don't know. Because at the university, at LSBU, there's still no decision yet on what September will look like. Like, will it be online? Will it be on campus? Will it be face-to-face? Will it be a mix? Will there be the option of studying like there was this year, the option of studying on campus or studying online? So I don't know yet. And a lot of students are asking me, is it okay if I study online in September? And I just tell them, currently, I don't know. I should say that most UK universities, we're not online course providers. We only do this because of the global situation. So I think any student thinking about studying in the UK, you should be prepared to either study online or have to physically come to the UK in September. That's my advice. So don't just assume it's going to be an online course that you can do in your bedroom forever. You have to sort of enter it with the mind that you may have to travel to the UK once things return to normal.
Actually, it is also very good that UK Embassy is also helping the students to shorten the deadlines, because, you know, they just put a condition. If students who took the first semester as online, who can come back to the UK before the 6th of April, they still should keep the rights of post-study work opportunities, and then they just extend the deadline until June, and then they extend it until the 27th of September. Hopefully they will keep doing the same things.
Yeah, I hope they keep. They've been they have been really flexible with us this year. They're not usually known for being flexible. They have been flexible this year. So let's hope that continues, because that's welcome. Flexibility is good.
Okay, thank you. I guess we do not have any other question, Malcolm. We really appreciate your time as usual.
And you too. Thank you very much, guys. Nice to hear from you all. See you all. Thanks for the questions. So yeah, anyone listening, if you have any more questions, if you want a one-to-one consultation, contact the guys at Academix. I'm happy to do that. And if not, stay well, stay safe, and hopefully see you in Turkey at some point.
Yes, hopefully it's going to be as soon as possible. Hopefully we look forward to seeing you in Turkey very soon.
Indeed. Okay, cheers, guys. Have a good afternoon. All the best.
Thank you very much. You too, Malcolm.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Arkadaşlar, hepinize katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz. Etkinliğimizi YouTube kanalımızda yüklü halde bulacaksınız. Yaklaşık 1-2 saat içerisinde kanalımıza yüklenmiş olur. Academix News kanalından takip edebilirsiniz. Bundan sonraki etkinliklerimize keza yine sitemizden ulaşabilirsiniz. Academix'in etkinlikler sayfasından da 5 Mayıs'taki Torrance University Avustralya eğitimine de, daha doğrusu seminerine de sizleri bekliyor olacağız. Katılımınız için teşekkürler. Umarım sonraki etkinliklerde de tekrardan görüşme fırsatı bulacağız. Hepinize güzel ve sağlıklı bir gün diliyorum. Kendinize çok iyi bakın.